Justin, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very jealous of your background. Mine is very boring. Never mind. Never mind. Congrats on the film.
Thank you.
Your billionth one that you've directed of these monster movies. There's so much that goes on in this movie. There's so many set pieces, so much stuff. Tell me about directing the Fast and Furious stare. Vin Diesel has it down. John Cena seems to have it down. Charlize Theron seems to have it down. This kind of evil stare that they all give each other. Tell me about directing those moments.
I honestly I love working with this cast. I mean I know that to me those stairs have a lot of subtlety and meaning, and I think on this one, there are stairs from Vin through Dom that I hadn't seen in any other ones. And so it's part of the joy of working on these movies and crafting these characters. And in many ways, obviously with Dominic Toretto, he's been with us for 20 years. For him to have these stares and to have the connection with the audience, I think it's not by accident. I'll tell you that.
I mean, this franchise has been. I mean, there's not many franchises that go for this long. Some based on books, Harry Potter, all these kind of things don't go on for this long. Why do you think this one in particular gives people so much joy and gets people going back time after time? 9 times. That's such a big extent
Yeah.
of
Yeah, yeah.
time.
I mean, look, I think when I started 16 years ago, a sequel was not given. I think we were a very different place, and I remember sitting down and talking to Vin and getting to know him, and we made a commitment that if we were lucky enough to earn new chapters, that we were going to do a couple of things. We were not going to make the same movie. We're just going to take chances and try new things, which is, a lot of times that sounds simple, but for a big budget movie, it's the scariest thing probably for the studios.
Yeah.
And the second thing that we wanted to do was to make sure that we acknowledge the evolution, the growth of these characters, so that they're not just doing the same thing. They're going to actually, get together, maybe start families, have kids, and their kids are going to grow. And so I think for me, through time, just running into fans, they talk about Dom and Letty and Han as if they're part of their family because they're growing together, And I don't think that was something that we designed for connection, but I think being part of this franchise, that is one thing that I really, take to heart because they don't seem like fictional characters when people talk to me about them, And so it's every 2 years, it feels like there's another family reunion and they just want to check in, see how they're doing, And I think in a way that, to me, that's kind of the heart of why we do these things.
Yeah, and in terms of your set pieces, I know as a big fan of Christopher Nolan that he does a lot of CGI stuff, but he always says that as long as the kind of the punchlines are real, then people will buy it. Was that the same for you? That the balance between the CGI and doing stuff for real is what gives it its unique energy?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's never right or wrong in any of the process. We all had the same ingredients. I think for me, it's always making sure that whatever crazy idea, we need to shoot it practically, if nothing else, to have reference, because I think reality is so subjective, especially if you're pushing things, that I feel like, why not? Like I feel like it's part of our responsibility to at least try. And the example is like the red car going through the building. I must have had 8 to 9 months of just meetings, not only in figuring out how to do that practically, but then examining those things and how things interact so that we can have the proper conversation and hopefully using the tools in the right way.
Yeah, and are you gearing up for 10 yet, or are you waiting a little while before you get your head around it?
Oh man. I mean, Vin does not rest. He continues to call me and text me every day. And that's great because, the 10 is special, 10 and 11. We call it the final chapter because, when we started the conversation about, I think it's like 9 or 10 years ago, Paul was part of that conversation. And I thought it was really just, an exercise and that we were never going to realize it. So it was kind of in the spirit of like, if we were going to end it, how we were going to end it. But the fact that we're now talking for real, it has a special meaning for me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thanks so much for your time, and good luck with the movie. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,